Chapter 1. The Door That Wasn't There Yesterday. They say some houses are born wrong, not because of the wood or the stone, but because something older decided to live beneath them or inside them. I never believed in that kind of thing. Not really. Not until I saw the door. It wasn't there yesterday. I know it wasn't. I've lived in this house for nearly a decade. It's an old, narrow place inherited from my uncle, tucked at the edge of a forest no one ever names. The kind of house that groans with the wind and shifts like it's dreaming. But I knew every creak, every flaw in the wallpaper. I would have noticed a door. But there it was, plain as breath, on the second-floor hallway, where there had only been a blank wall. Dark wood. No handle, just a keyhole like a yawning eye. I didn't touch it, not at first. I stood there for a long time, maybe 5 minutes, maybe 30. I couldn't tell anymore. The hallway felt longer, the shadows heavier, and the silence unnatural. That night I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the door. I felt it watching me, not from the hallway, but from inside my own mind, like it was waiting for something, like it knew me. The next morning, the door was still there, but now there was something else, a small brass key hanging on the knob of my bedroom door. I hadn't put it there. No one else lives here. And yet there it was, ancient, ornate, and freezing cold to the touch. I didn't even need to try it. I knew exactly where it went. I should have called someone. I should have burned it, buried it, but instead I walked down the hallway and I opened the door. What I saw wasn't a room. It was another house. My house, but not. The hallway was the same shape, the floors the same old wood, but the walls breathed, literally moved in and out like lungs. The lights flickered with no source, and the pictures on the wall showed me, sleeping, from angles I'd never seen. And then the door shut behind me. I turned, tried to open it, but it was gone. No frame. No seam in the wall, just solid living wood that pulsed under my fingers like skin. I wasn't in my house anymore. There were voices down the hall. My voice, calling, pleading. I followed them. The farther I walked, the stranger everything became. The furniture twisted slightly in shape, familiar, but off. My childhood bedroom is there, complete with the blanket I lost when I was 7. My dog, Toby, who died 3 years ago, ran past the door, and when I called his name, he looked back. His eyes were all wrong. Too human. I should have stopped. I should have sat down and waited for whatever this place wanted to do, but the problem is, this house doesn't want you to sit. It wants you to move, because if you stop moving, it notices. And once it notices, it starts remembering things about you. In the kitchen, I found my mother, or something wearing her skin. She was making tea, humming an old song she used to sing when I had nightmares. I stood there, frozen, heart punching my ribs. She turned. "Would you like some sugar?" she asked. Her smile was wrong, too wide, too sharp. I didn't answer. I backed away. And the moment I stepped out of the room, the hallway was gone. Now I was in the attic. I don't know how long I've been here now. This place doesn't follow time. It loops, it recreates, it feeds on memory, on guilt. It watches. But I'm starting to understand something. This house wasn't built to trap me. It was built for me, because I'm not the first to find it, and I won't be the last.
Chapter 2: The Door That Waited. I never meant to open the second door. After the night I escaped the collapsing hallway, I told myself I was done, that I would never go back to that place, not in body, not in mind. But memories are like old floorboards. You think you've left them behind, but step just right, and they creak beneath you. And once they start, you hear the house again, calling. It began 3 days later. A sound, faint, familiar, like the whisper of that same door creaking open. But I wasn't there anymore. I was in my apartment, miles away from that cursed land. And yet, I knew. That house had followed me. No, that's not right. It didn't follow. It never left. It was always here, just outside of sight. Behind the skin of this world, behind every mirror, every dream, every shadow that stretched too far. A dimension stitched between the bones of reality. And the door had only been the beginning. The nightmares returned first. Not like before. No screaming, no blood, just silence. I'd wake drenched in sweat, hands gripping my bedsheets like they were rope in a storm. In those dreams, I stood in front of a door. Always the same one, plain, wooden, with a black iron handle. It didn't glow, didn't whisper. It waited, patient, eternal. I began to see it in reflections. Not the door itself, no, that would be too easy, but the outline. A frame burned in frost on my bathroom mirror. A shadow cast backward when no light existed. I saw it in elevator panels, in windows at night. It was never where I looked, only where I accidentally noticed. And I knew. It wasn't over. I told myself I could ignore it. I was wrong. On the 5th day, I lost time. Entire hours gone. I found myself standing in the middle of my apartment, hands outstretched toward a wall that wasn't there the second I blinked. My phone was shattered on the floor, alarms going off. My lips were cracked, dry. I hadn't drunk water. I hadn't moved. I was just there, listening. The door was getting closer. Not physically, but spiritually. It was like it had been called, or like I had accepted some silent agreement I didn't remember signing. And part of me, a small, traitorous part, wanted to open it again. Because behind the door was knowledge. And madness, yes. But what is madness if not truth we were never meant to bear? I returned. Not to the real house. That house no longer existed on any map. I checked. I drove past where it used to be. Empty woods, overgrown road. No sign had ever stood. But the door? The one in my dreams? It was there, waiting. I saw it in the clearing, standing freestanding in the middle of the woods. No frame, no hinges, no wall, just a single door upright in the dirt. I touched it, and I felt everything rush back. The sky tore open. I didn't walk through the door. I fell. Reality inverted. Up became breath. Down became memory. I tasted the sound of screaming colors and remembered what hadn't happened yet.
My bones turned cold with futures not yet lived, regrets not yet earned. And when I landed, I stood once more in the house. But it was different now. It had grown. The house was vast, infinite. Corridors stretched into fog, stairs that spiraled both up and down at once. Portraits stared with eyes that blinked after you looked away. The walls whispered memories I never told anyone, moments I had buried so deep even I couldn't recall them. But the house could. Because the house remembered everything. And it wanted me to remember too. There was no more time in that place, only events. I saw myself, versions of me, some afraid, some curious, some broken. All of us trapped in this same moment, walking the same halls, opening the same doors. I was not the first. I would not be the last. At the center of the house, I found the truth. A mirror, but not of glass. It was a mirror of self, a pulsing, liquid frame that shimmered with my regrets. I saw my childhood fears, my adult compromises. I saw the night I lied to the one person who loved me. I saw the moment I chose silence when I should have screamed. And the mirror spoke, not in words, in feelings. Remember. It didn't ask, it commanded. So I did. I remembered everything. I remembered the first time I walked past the house as a child, ignoring its hum. I remembered the dream I had at 13 of a door in the forest. I remembered an elderly man telling me to stay away, that the house eats souls, not flesh. But most of all, I remembered that I had opened the door once before, long ago, and I never closed it. I had left it open for others. I fell to my knees. The house shook, not with rage, but with anticipation. It wasn't a prison, it was a womb, and something inside it was waking, something ancient, older than memory, older than thought. The house was its vessel, and I had been its key. I made a choice, the only one I could. I spoke to it, not with words, but with memory. I gave it my fears, my shame, my sorrow. I let it taste the fullness of who I was, and in return, it let me go. Not because I won, but because I understood. Because sometimes, that's all the door wants. To be seen, to be remembered, to be feared. I woke up in my apartment. The door was gone. The house, quiet. I thought it was over. It's not. Because sometimes, when the lights flicker, when the air feels too heavy, I hear a creak, and I know. Somewhere, the door is still waiting. And someday, I might open it again.